This is the American wire gauge table, and to begin with we need to take a look at the American wire gauge sizing chart. And what's of interest here is that the heavier wire has the lower number, so it's quite opposite to what one would expect, and this would be called triple aught here for this wire size. And it gives all the specifications of it, being the diameter of the wire in both inches and millimeters, the area, cross-sectional area, and the resistance per length. And this is kind of important. For example, if you say wanted to run a pump far away from your house and you wired this with some underground wire size, say 14 or 12, when a motor starts there's a very high surge, and that motor kicks in what's called a starter winding to get it going. Not a topic of discussion, but when it comes up to speed, a centrifugal switch will turn off the starter winding. If the voltage drop in the wire, having to do with I times R for the length here, is too large, the motor will never get out of the starting sequence and eventually burn up. Now, wire sizes of interest here would be the 12 gauge, and this is found in a lot of residences. It has a circuit breaker value of 20 amperes. And in some homes, especially older ones that use knob and tube wiring, they have 14 gauge wire, and the maximum breaker or fuse size for that should be 15 amperes. Never exceed the rated fuse size for the given type of wire you have in your house. Now, wire comes in two different types. One is solid wire and the other is stranded. Now, 12 gauge solid wire can carry the same current as 12 gauge stranded wire, without any questions, because it's the same cross-sectional area. The difference is that stranded wire costs more, and it's also bendable. And a good example of stranded wire would be the telephone line on your cord. On the other hand, solid wire like Romex, which lives in your walls, doesn't get bent. Therefore, there's no sense or no possibility of it fatiguing and breaking because of bending. So this is kind of the reference table for doing wiring, and do note here that this is for a single unbundled wires. In other words, if you put several wires in a conduit, then it gets derated. For example, the 20 amp rating of 12 gauge would be derated to a lower value because of the I squared R, that is power that's being produced by the wire. It has resistance and current flows through it, so it does dissipate heat, would be diminished because it would not be exposed to free air. So that'll conclude on the American wire gauge.